Hello everyone and welcome back to another video. In this video we are going to see how to deploy multiple operating systems from a single pen drive. For this we are using Ventoy. Ventoy is an application that helps us in booting up to multiple different operating systems from a single boot device. It creates two different partitions in which one partition contains the boot file system for Ventoy and its files, and the other one contains the bootable ISOs and .vim files. You can also store other normal files in the second partition without interfering with the Ventoy instance. So you can also use the pendrive for personal use. Thus, it also makes it convenient for it to be carried around in case of need. Ventoy supports any kind of OS or distro like Ubuntu, Debian, Windows 11 or even Proxmox. Ventoy is also open source, so you would be supporting the open source community by using it. It supports file formats like ISO, Vim, VHD and image files. Along with that, it has features like TPM requirement bypassing and avoiding Microsoft account requirement for Windows 11 installation. These kinds of features makes it a go-to tool for creating a bootable drive. Compared to other tools like Rufus and Berliner Etcher, they are better for a single OS boot creation. Although Rufus has also later on implemented the bypassing of Windows 11 TPM and Microsoft account requirements. Coming back to Ventoy, you can also browse local disks present in your system for booting of the ISO from or image files present in there. So now let's start with the Ventoy installation. First, we need to go to the Ventoy's website and go to the download page. Once you are there on the download page, just click on the Ventoy with the version number along with the windows.zip file and download it to your system. So in this example we would be using a Windows computer, so just download the Windows zip. And wait for the download to start. So once the download is complete, extract this zip file which you have downloaded and just extract it. So now just go into the folder and run the Ventoy to disk application. So it would look something like this. Now once the Ventoy installer is open, just select the USB disk which you want to make bootable. You can confirm the selected disk by seeing the disk name and its size. After that, go to the option and here go to the partition style and select it as GPT. Now if you have selected the correct drive, just click on the install button and start installing. Now to confirm the installation, just type yes in the box below and click on OK. Now you have to click yes again to confirm the formatting, and you have to click yes again to confirm the formatting. So now the process of installation has started for Ventoy. So as you can see, the Ventoy installation is complete. So just click on OK and now you can exit the Ventoy installation. Now if you go to the file explorer and check in this PC option, you can see the Ventoy drive present. So as you can see, it is empty, and now you can start putting the ISOs which you want to boot from. So we will just copy the ISOs which we want. Now you can put the required ISOs to boot from, like Ubuntu, Debian and Windows ISOs. So to do that, you'll need to first download the required ISOs from their respective sources. So for example, if you need to download Windows ISO, if you want to download Windows ISO, go to the Windows 11 download link in the description, and from there generate a download link. Similarly, you can do this for Ubuntu. And you can also download the ISO for the same. So once the ISOs are downloaded, you can just copy them to the USB boot drive. So it should look something like this. So after selecting the ISOs, I have started copying the ISOs to the Ventoy disk. So now we will wait for the ISOs to be copied to the Ventoy disk. So once the copying is complete, you will need to restart your system to boot into the Ventoy. Now before booting into Ventoy, you will need to either disable the secure boot or enroll the Ventoy's EFI keys in your system. So you will need to do either of them to boot successfully into Ventoy. So in this tutorial, we would be disabling the secure boot. Once that's done, we can boot into Ventoy. So once you have rebooted your system, you will need to go into your BIOS settings and disable the secure boot option for Ventoy to work. So as you can see here, I have selected the secure boot option as disabled. So secure boot is disabled on my machine, or else you will need to enroll the EFI keys of the Ventoy USB pen drive. So in this tutorial, we are just going to leave that, and we'll see that in a different tutorial. So just disable the secure boot and then save and reset the BIOS settings. And don't worry, this will not actually reset your BIOS settings. So now select the bootable devices by pressing the F10 or F11 key or any other combination which your BIOS supports. So as you can see here on my screen, here I can select the boot device from which I want to boot up from. So I will select the USB pen drive from the second option. So now the Ventoy screen is open. Now the ISOs which I have copied to the USB bootable disk are listed here. So I can browse through all the ISOs which I have copied on the USB disk. And also, if I want to browse the raw contents of the disks present, I can press the F2 key, and here it will show all the disks present in my system. So I can select any other disk drive which is having the ISO files and navigate to it and then boot from that one. So here you can see that the Ventoy drive is present in the first option, and if I select that, I can see all the files listed which I have copied on that drive. So if I press the escape option, I will go back to the main screen. Now I can also use the F3 option to view the disk contents which are present on the same USB drive. So I can separate the ISO files by having them in different folders. Now similarly, I can use the F4 command to locally boot and use the Ventoy EFI files for booting up to locally installed Windows partition. Now using the F5 option, I can configure the resolution to be changed according to my screen. So it would look much better and more crisper. But for the sake of this tutorial, I will just keep it at default. And here you can see that the Ventoy gives some options like bypassing the CPU TPM requirements and the secure boot check, which is required for Windows 11 installation, and also bypassing the online account requirement when installing the Windows 11. So this way it is helpful in installation of Windows and makes it convenient. And similarly, these are some options in the Ventoy, and you can explore them and go back to the main screen. So now you can select which ISO you want to boot up from. So for example, we will select the Windows 11 ISO. So just select the Windows 11 ISO and boot it in normal mode. So now it is starting to boot up from the Windows 11 ISO present on the bootable USB drive. So as you can see, it has started booting up from the ISO, and we can proceed to install fresh Windows 11 installation from the USB drive. So we don't want to do that now, so we will just cancel it and we'll go back to the Ventoy installation page. And here you can select any other ISO which you want to install, like for example Ubuntu. So in the same way, it has started loading the Ubuntu installation, and as you can see now that it has successfully booted to the Ubuntu installation page. Now it is just loading the installer. So if we want, we can continue the installation of Ubuntu on this machine. Now we'll go back to the Ventoy page again and we'll try some other distro. So now we'll boot up again into the Ventoy installation, and now we can try to install Proxmox. So we can see the Proxmox installation page, and here we can go ahead and install Proxmox. So let it load all the files and wait for the installation page to pop up. And the installer has popped up, and if you want, you can continue the installation of Proxmox in the same way. So we don't want to install the Proxmox now, so we'll go back again to the Ventoy page. So coming back to the Ventoy page, we have seen how to install Proxmox, Windows 11 and Ubuntu from a single USB pen drive using Ventoy. So in this way, you can use Ventoy to boot up to multiple ISOs from a single USB disk. So that was all for this video, and if you have any comments or suggestions, just drop them down below in the comment box. Thank you for watching.